So I've seen a lot of videos made lately of progressives, people who I respect, who I grew up watching. And now they are turning their backs on the people who helped to spark this movement. And it's starting to piss me off. It's really starting to piss me off. I'm talking about Jimmy Dore, I'm talking about every single one of these commentators who are coming out here and just bashing Bernie. Calling him weak, calling him spineless, calling him a sellout. Don't you dare call Bernie Sanders a sellout. You don't get to do that. So shut up. Shut up. I'm sick and tired of it, bro. They're being crybabies. They're being naive and they're being crybabies. And it comes from a place of ignorance. It comes from a place of naivete where you sit here and try to act like the things you want to get done can just magically happen at the snap of the fingers. Bernie doesn't have a wand. He's not Bernie Potter. He can't say Medicare for all or miss. It's not how it works. That's not how it works. If you think that's how it works, Jimmy, if you think that's how it works, I'm forgetting the names, but I know a few others, and Jimmy Dore especially. It pisses me off. It really pisses me off. Because yes. Could AOC and could Bernie be more of the aggressive, vehement, pesty types of folks, right? Where they leverage things at all costs. You vote no, you filibuster, you use the Senate rules and proceedings to get leverage. Absolutely. Absolutely. But when they don't do that, that doesn't give you the right to call them sellouts. They're not being sellouts. They're trying to create the greatest amount of change for people that they can. Because the logic for them is, okay, if I don't go ahead and vote for this bill, or if I stop the passage of this bill, whatever measly crumbs we were able to get out of the debates and the proceedings won't even get to people. So there won't be a paycheck protection program. There won't be a small business administration. There won't be anything for anybody. So in that case, it is on them to not hold up the process. Even if the process is corrupt and terrible and corrupt neoliberalism at its finest, you cannot hold it up because in their eyes, they now have the power to either hold up essential aid, even as small and as inadequate as it is, from getting to people. Because regardless, even with this bill, the relief package that we've gotten, millions of lives have indeed been saved. Millions of families' finances have indeed been saved. It sucks. It's terrible. It's going to go down in history as a disastrous example of what is wrong with American politics today. But for them, they tried their best in the debates, in the proceedings, allying with the more populist conservatives to ensure that we got some type of relief for the working families. They did. And simply sitting here and denying that and denouncing AOC and Bernie for supporting Joe Biden and supporting the bailout. Shut up. You have a basic ignorance about how power actually works in America. The system is rigged. The system is rigged. And we are all sitting home on our asses. Sitting home on our asses. Just speaking into a microphone like I'm doing now, or typing up some little rant on Twitter, right? Instead of going out into the streets and protesting. Instead of going out in the street and demonstrating. Instead of going out in the street and organizing, getting people out to vote, doing the good work. You have to volunteer, you have to be active, you have to mobilize. But instead you sit home on your tail and you speak. You speak badly on the names of the people who built this movement on their backs. So shut up. They're doing the best they can. They're doing the best they can. Could they be the aggressive hawks who hold up change? Sure. They could have held up the bailout package. Sure, they could not support Joe Biden. But in their eyes, they're not in a position to do so. They could either support Joe Biden and vote for the bailout, or at least allow it to go through, or they hold up the proceedings and still get nothing done because the system is rigged. This is what people are forgetting, bro. This is what people are forgetting at the core. The system is so fundamentally broken in America that it is not going to just take the efforts of a few progressive politicians who somehow got their way into Congress to be able to create change. That's not how it works. You can't get Medicare for all passed if AOC and Bernie do a little sit-out strike in front of Nancy Pelosi's office. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. What it's going to take is an inside-outside movement. We are the outside. We're the most important factor in that whole word. The outside is so important because they need to have an entire movement behind them. It doesn't just mean donating $20 here to his campaign or voting for him here. That means having his back in the streets, mobilizing with protests and demonstrations and activism, getting people out to vote, going across college campuses and working class areas, getting your friends and family and neighbors out to vote. That means doing the good work. That's how change happens. But simply sitting home in your comfy little studio and ranting about how Bernie Sanders is now a sellout, the person who created this movement, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. They're doing the very best they can. They are principled. They're doing the best they can. So I'm sick of progressives being crybabies. You want to create change? You want to create change? Then stop calling them sellouts, and how about you start doing some good work? How about you create an activist group? How about you start protesting? How about you get the people you know out to vote? How about you get the people you know in the streets rallying for Medicare for all? How about you do the good work and stop being a crybaby, calling people out because they can't snap their fingers and get everything you want done? It's not how power works. The system's rigged. But Jimmy Dore, and I've seen so many other progressives, have elements of this where they just call them sellouts. They call them spineless. Look, I agree there is a degree of weakness to Bernie and what he did in his campaign. But I'm not gonna barrage the guy who created this movement. I'm gonna learn from his mistakes and I'm gonna move forward so that we can be at the head of an even stronger movement 5, 10, 15 years down the line. So that by the time I'm a fully grown dude with a family and kids, I can live in peace. I have health care. I have an education guaranteed for my children. I can live a life of security and happiness. That's my goal. I'm not going to barrage the guy who paved the way for us to move forward as progressives. I'm not going to do that. Neither should any single one of you. Stop being crybabies. It's not how power works. Stop crying and start acting and learning the lessons of the people who blazed the trail for you. Be grateful. I'm sick of this, man. Be active. Stop yapping your mouth and doing your little Twitter rage rants. Do something. Come on, man. Straighten up.
With the boys, yeah, we making all this noise. Can't complain, riding in the fast lane. To the top, we don't stop up till past 5 o'clock. Smoking trees.